Almanac North. I'm Maria Hewitt.
And I'm Brett Scott. Thank you for joining us tonight. You'll meet the person who helps keep public records and property values organized and available.
We're also sitting in on an intimate musical act as well as attending a night at the symphony.
Those stories and more are all coming up, but first we begin this evening. In 2024, both the Hermantown Police and Fire Departments saw increased calls and improved response times. At a recent City Council meeting, Director of Public Safety Jim Crace highlighted their progress. The Fire Department transitioned to a hybrid model, adding full-time firefighters alongside more than 20 paid on-call staff. This change helped reduce response times from over 8 minutes in 2023 to just under 6 in 2024. The police department also handled nearly 9,500 calls, with their response times improving to around 5.5 minutes. Both departments continue to prioritize quick, effective service to the community. Full reports are available on the city's website.
The Wisconsin DNR invites the public to celebrate the 125th anniversary of the Wisconsin State Park System in 2025. Over the years, the system has grown, offering diverse outdoor recreation while protecting Wisconsin's natural resources. Governor Evers proclaimed 2025 as the State Park System 125th anniversary. The system includes more than 120 parks, forests, and trails with new amenities like campgrounds and universal recreation features. Visitors can enjoy events, outdoor activities, and purchase anniversary merchandise. For more details, visit the DNR's anniversary webpage.
Next, we are sending you over to Denny's desk with Dennis Anderson. Denny?
And thank you, Brett. I'm Dennis Anderson, and this is Denny's Desk. Well, for years we've been told that globalization is the future. The internet and international commerce made it easier than ever to buy, sell, and connect across borders. But recently, more and more people are choosing to look closer to home, to shop local, invest in their communities, and build something that lasts. And here's why. Part of the answer is economic. You can actually see this shift happening right here in Duluth. The revitalization of downtown and the Lincoln Park Craft District isn't just about new storefronts and trendy restaurants. It's about a renewed belief that our own neighborhoods are worth investing in. When people choose to support local businesses, it's also about control. It's about keeping decisions, jobs, and opportunities here instead of leaving them up to corporate boardrooms halfway across the country. There's also a cultural side to localism. For years, convenience was king, but people are now realizing that convenience comes with a steeper price, the loss of personal connection. And here's something meaningful about buying from a shop owner who lives in your community or sitting in a cafe where they know your name. None of this means we should isolate ourselves from the benefits of a global economy, but what's happening isn't about turning away from the world. It's about making sure our own communities are strong enough to stand on their own. And maybe that's the biggest lesson in all of this. The world may be more connected than ever, but sometimes the most important connections are the ones right in front of us. And so this has been Denny's Desk. Now back to you, Brett.
Denny, thank you. On this week's Making It Up North, our team sat in with the Cooley Boys live in Studio A. Check it out.
Get on conscious on the count of 3. You know I love the way you look up close. Heard you were in town again. Close my eyes and count to 10. You know I love it when you hit it home. And you know I love the way you look up close. Hold me to the fire again. Wanna lose my mind again. You know I find it when it's time to go. Until then, let's make the most. Come on, comfort, sharply close. I know I have a problem going slow. You know I love the way cup close. Yes, suppose I see it's what I need. I can't lie. I had cried over you and me constantly, so I feel my eyes view.
That's them Cooley Boys live from Studio A with a tune from their forthcoming new album, No Fun in the Chrysalis. That was up close. Well, thanks for coming in, guys. And this is your first visit here. So first of all, the voice you just heard was Soren Staff. Soren, do you want to introduce the rest of the band for us?
Yeah, right behind me. I guess we do have video for some of this, but this is radio, sorry. We have Stash Hobley on the drums. We have my little brother Jen Staff on the mandolin. We have Neil Krause Jennings on the bass. And then we have Mr. Bo Janke on the banjo.
And I have to say, this band has probably the most wholesome origin story of any band that I've had in the studio. You and Bo met when you were camp counselors at Lutheran Bible Camp, right?
Yep.
Which I also went to Lutheran Bible Camp, so shout out. Yep.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. And you were counselors together. And for years, you worked together for a few years, right?
Yeah. I did 4 summers. I think Bo did 4 summers, 5 summers. Gents also was a camp counselor, was there for 4 summers. Yeah, when we first met and we were friends within half an hour, and then we started playing music together, and I just immediately kind of felt this, connection with him that I never felt musically with anybody. And luckily we had to play like 3 times a day, like every day for a whole summer, and we did that for 3-4 summers, and that I think that allowed us to like cut our teeth or like get our performing chops up without having to worry about being in front of like an actual crowd. It's like we just had to entertain 13-year-olds, which is hard. So yeah.
So what kind of songs did you play together? Like when you were at the Bible camp?
Songs about Jesus. And so like teaching kids and how to remember songs about the Bible was like really difficult. So getting them interested was how we got so good at entertaining. So we learned how to like do call and responses, things like that, like getting the kids fired up about this thing that most teenagers find super boring. And we were good at it and we got paid to do it. So, we were there for a whole summer. We learned how to do it. And now we kind of do the same thing, but with like, hey, everybody tap into your emotions now. and we teach them about that.
I love that. I love that aspect of what you learned from that you still carry forward today. That's fantastic. Yeah. And when you first started playing together, my understanding is that it was kind of for fun. It was just something that you did to hang out. And Jens came on fairly quickly to join in. And how did it become more than that? And when did it really feel like, hey, I guess this is what we do for a living now?
Oh my gosh. I mean, well, yeah, we were just like playing covers in the cabins, and then I started writing some songs. I had been writing in songs since high school, but I had a buddy who was graduating from like a recording college or something like that, and he had this like senior project that he had to do. So he's like, "Can I record something of you guys?" So we went to his house. We recorded 7 songs in like less than 20 hours. Like we did it through the night. We did it in his like living room, where like if we got too loud, his dogs would like bark and like ruin the recording. But like, yeah, after we did that, we were like, well, let's play some shows, and like it just was really, really fun. And I graduated college that next year, had a big old breakup, and wrote a bunch of songs. So I needed to do that, and these guys were just down for it. And we just started playing places, bars that we like grew up going to, and it just started small, and then it's the kind of like that snowball effect. People started bringing their friends, and like that's still the lifeblood of
happening.
What we do. Yeah, like we grow. I mean, like social media is not our strong suit. I mean, like it's just for what we do. It doesn't lend itself well to that landscape, but people always tell their friends after they see us, and they bring them to the shows, and that's like, yeah, that turned this hobby into a career for us.
Our guest this week is Director of Public Records and Property Valuations, Mary Garness. Mary, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to share some information about my work.
Yeah, let's start with what you do, what your role is, and what you oversee.
So I direct public records and property valuation. So that means I direct the Assessors office and the Recorder's office. They have distinct functions, but very related in that on the recorder side, we record a variety of documents related to property, and then on the assessor's side, we are responsible for valuation for taxation purposes. And I would say, though, a majority of my work involves supporting the staff that are in those departments, ensuring that they can do their best work, so providing tools and resources for them, and also communicating about our work and our message.
What do you think residents need to know about your office, and how do you impact their daily lives?
My office, well, I would say we have a great group of employees that take their responsibilities very seriously, especially when it comes to land, which can be often considered a way to accumulate wealth in the United States. So the information, for example, that we record in the Recorder's office, we need to be accurate, very accurate and responsive in terms of providing access to those records. On the assessment side, again, we want to be accurate, we want to be responsive and consistent in how we value properties as well as respond to our residents. And both of those roles, the recorder and assessor, help, I think, establish a solid foundation for taxation within the county, which sometimes, can be a touchy subject. But taxes support many of the programs and the departments throughout the county. So again, the work that we do is so, I think, important in establishing that foundation, building trust with the community, and yeah, providing access to information to help individuals make informed decisions.
Folks at home probably mostly know the office for that piece of paper they get in the mail telling them about their property value. How do you go about determining the value of property? What does that process look like?
Okay, so it's a year-long process. But I guess I would start by saying that our assessment date is January 2nd. So that's the date that, we use for our specific valuation. So that's the date. So whatever exists on that property as of January 2nd is what we're kind of aiming to value. So we have different, phases throughout the year. And I'll start with our field work. So our appraisal staff, they go out into the field, they verify information on specific properties, they verify sketches using mobile assessor tools. They also have an opportunity to interact with residents, answer any questions that they have, verify the information that we have within our records to make sure that information is accurate. That revaluation process entails revaluing 1/5 of the parcels throughout the county. And we do that in a pragmatic way, so 1/5 per year and move forward. And so the field work usually takes place within the summer through the fall months. And then we also verify new construction or maintenance. So we update our records with all that information to make sure it's accurate within our databases. And we also verify all sales. It's required to get a certificate of real estate value for each sale. So we verify the value of each sale. We populate that and analyze that, and we come up with what's called a sales ratio. So our current estimated market value, comparing it to what the current sales are in the market, we come up with a sales ratio. So the current estimated market value, or the previous year, divided by the current rate, and then that kind of gives us a ratio that allows us to adjust up to what the market would bear between willing buyers and sellers. So that sales ratio, the state determines what that is, and we have to get between 90 and 105%. So if the market is kind of dictating to us that sales prices are above our current estimated market values, then we adjust. And it's a very statistical, analytical process. And then after all of that work's done, the field work, our analysis, those estimated market valuation notices go out in the spring. And then residents get those notices, which kind of spell out local Board of Appeal and Equalization meetings.
That's always the fun part.
Yeah, it is.
That's when the
Appeal
phones start
season?
ringing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest challenges that you face with keeping and maintaining all of the public records?
I would say just the sheer volume of records that we process in the recorder's office. We record 150 different types of legal documents, most of which are for real estate or real estate related, so property ownership, property interests, encumbrances. And when we take those documents in, we populate our system, we index, for example, grantor, grantee, legal description, so it's easy to access that information in the future. And then also the documents that are recorded are scanned in and imaged and attached for easier access in the future.
Which is nice because now we have all the technology to do that.
Yes.
St. Louis County is obviously a very large county, so where can folks access records throughout the county?
So there's a variety of methods. You can come into our offices in person, Recorder's office. We have offices in Duluth, Hibbing, and Virginia. Assessor's office. We have 2 offices in Duluth, one in Virginia, one in Hibbing, Ely, Cook. So there's still that in-person option. You can also call us. I think that might be the best first avenue. We also have an inquiry system on the recorder side that researchers or the public can subscribe to, or you can come to our offices and we have public terminals. There's also a geographic information system which gives a visual and also accumulates all of that data into one spot so people can view their value, and so for 4 or 5 years, as well as legal description and other property information. And that can be done so in a visual manner. So several different ways to access that information.
Well, I'm sure technology has changed how record keeping
Yes.
has been over the past decade.
Absolutely. We've continued to digitize our records. Going back in time, it's a process, but we're getting better at it. And we have more information available for those researching, doing genealogy, looking for birth and death records. And we're also working on a new project, a new land record management system, which is going to help enhance some of our subscription services and access to records.
Mary, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're heading up to the Iron Range, where the Mesabi Symphony Orchestra is providing special opportunities for young vocalists and musicians.
Hi, I'm Benjamin Nillis, the Artistic Director and Conductor of the Mesabi Symphony Orchestra. So our February performance coming up in about a week and a half is going to be highlighting our 2 Young Artist Competition winners. It will be 2 vocalists from UMD in Duluth this year. And then we're also going to be highlighting George Bizet's opera Carmen as the big feature on the second half. And the rest of the program is actually going to be filled out with little bits and pieces from operas as well. So our Young Artist Competition is one of our big education initiatives and one of my personal favorite things to do with the Mesabi Symphony. And so this is open to 2 categories of people. We have the younger category of 18 and younger, or currently in high school and younger, or homeschooled. And then we have college age level all the way up to age 25. And so we start this competition by announcing that we're holding auditions. And people send in their preliminary recordings of their pieces that they're performing. And then a panel of us kind of sift through, and we invite the best of the best to come for the live auditions, which is the second round. And so then the performers come and they perform live on stage for us. There are pieces that they hope to perform with the symphony eventually.
My name is Elsa Pearson. I am a student at UMD. I am this semester graduating with a BA in music with a classical voice emphasis and a BFA in acting. So the process of the competition began by me submitting my opera songs or arias to the board of the Mesabi Symphony Orchestra. They then reviewed them, and I made it to the next phase of the competition, which was an invite to audition in person up in Eveleth, Virginia, that area. And then I was chosen as one of the winners, and I have had a few rehearsals, one with Benjamin Nillis, the director and conductor of the orchestra, and once with the orchestra themselves. And yeah, next step is another rehearsal and then go time.
My name is Keegan Foster, and I'm a senior vocal performance major at UMD. There was a few different things that went into preparing for the competition. We first started by submitting videos, so my teacher Rachel and I recorded 2 arias that I ended up singing for the audition. And I sent those videos in, and then the audition panel watched them and got back to me and said that they wanted me to come sing for them in person. So then I went to Virginia, Minnesota, and I sang for the conductor, Benjamin Nillis, and I found out a few days later that I won.
The 2 singers are each singing 2 songs each, and they're all from operas. So each of them we called an aria from an opera. Our first singer, Keegan Foster, is singing 2 songs by the composer Giacomo Puccini. And the first one is very famous, O mio babbino caro, from Gianni Schicchi. These are all in different languages, Italian and French, which is super famous. People will recognize it immediately. And then the second song she's singing, famous as well, it's called Quando men vo, from Puccini's opera La Bohème. That's also called Musetta's Waltz. Very famous, maybe not quite as famous as O mio babbino caro, the first song she's singing, but I think people would probably recognize it as well. It's been used in a lot of pop culture mediums and stuff like that. And our other singer, Elsa Pearson, she's singing an opera from the French composer Jules Massenet, his opera called Werther. And then she's singing a second song from Mozart's opera Così fan tutte. So they both displayed a command of their pieces that they sang. In opera, and especially the vocal pieces that they're singing, it's very important for them to enter the character of the music they're singing. It's being sung by someone in the opera, so they need to portray that feeling, that emotion of what's happening at that instant. And they were head and shoulders above everyone else that performed, even on different instruments this year. I'm just encapsulating the music and what they wanted to portray at that time. So the winners of the competition, first of all, do get a decent monetary award prize. So that's a nice feather in their cap. But a lot of our competition winners are going off to graduate school or careers in music. So this is a real resume builder for sure, to sing with the full orchestra. And that's not always easy to do. They're often stuck in the practice room singing with piano, or even on juries and things like that. Finals, they're singing with the piano. They don't get a whole lot of experience to sing with an orchestra or perform an instrument with an orchestra out in front. So it's a resume builder. It's a kudos to them, that they were able to perform with an orchestra. And it just gives them more experience and helps cut those nerves down later for their times in front of the orchestra. It can be nerve-wracking out in front. So it's nice to have more experience built up so you know what it's like performing in front of an orchestra.
I wish I was more musically inclined.
Yeah? What? Can you do any?
I can sing in my car.
Oh.
That's about it, though. I could sing for you sometime.
I was going to say, now I want a sneak peek.
All right.
After
Maybe
the show.
Next week's show. Before we go, let's take a look at what you might be up to this weekend. There's a lot going on. The John Bear Grease Sled Dog Marathon opening ceremony is this Saturday. Located outdoors at the Buffalo House restaurant, vet safety teams will be checking on each dog and paw before the race kicks off on Sunday morning. The event is free to attend, and the public is welcome to get up close and meet the teams and talk with the mushers. Race organizers ask attendees to give the vet techs plenty of space while they do their important work, as this event is an important part of the race for safety and for the teams. There will be an Indigenous breakfast and dessert offering to celebrate the race's 40th anniversary, as well as merch and raffles. Bring the whole family.
And for those more inclined towards indoor activities, the John Beargrease Cutest Puppy Contest is back at the Vickers Building. Up to 40 puppies aged 4 to 9 months will be gathered together while onlookers get to vote on who they think is the cutest. The contest is free, a free family event with merch and raffle tickets available as well. Puppy check-in is at 10 a.m. with viewing and voting open at 11 a.m. on Saturday, March 1st.
So cute.
Fletcher, I think, is too old.
He's 2 now.
But very
He's
cute.
still my puppy. Yeah. Well, that's it for this week's show. Go out and enjoy your weekend. I'm Brett Scott.
And I'm Maria Hewitt. Thank you for joining us. Good night.